Hello, welcome to another edition of Daniel's Room. And today I'm going to talk about some of my guitars, specifically my electric guitars, because basically I'm a session player, so I do a lot of recordings. I do concerts with artists either in Singapore or overseas. So I need a large palette of colors. So we'll be talking about electric guitars, acoustic guitars, some of the other instruments I use like the mandolin, the ukulele, the banjo, even. So let us focus more on the electric guitar today, and then at further episodes we'll talk about acoustic guitars and other stuff. Okay, let me start by talking about this instrument here. Okay, Steve's going to get a close shot of the instrument. It's basically a James Tyler Strat. The specific model is James Tyler Retro. And this one is kind of unique because, okay, for those who do not know, James Tyler basically is a boutique guitar maker out of LA, and he makes these wonderful strats. He makes other models as well, but he's known for his strats. So this one is unique because it's actually chambered. It's not sorry, it's hollow actually. Sorry, it's not chambered but hollow. So basically, other than a block of wood here, I think, and some wood here, most of the guitar is hollow. So it's very light and resonant. It still sounds like a Strat, which is amazing. But it makes it so much pleasing to play because it's got some extra harmonics that you don't get from regular Strats, and also because it's very light. At some point I'm going to probably modify and put a full humbucker here. So that would be maybe a future episode. I'll talk more about that. This is a pretty recent acquisition, so I've not brought it out of the house too much. So at some point I will give you an update on what has happened to the guitar. Okay, let me now move on to this other guitar here. This is also a James Tyler, but it's a James Tyler Variax. So a Variax is basically made by this company, Line 6. So a couple of years ago, James Tyler and Line 6 collaborated on a series of instruments that could have their technology in it. So they've made a couple of models, and this one is called the JTV69, and this one is actually the US custom shop version. And I acquired this from the good folks at City Music. They've been really nice to me. So I had an endorsement with the shop with this guitar and the effects pedal, which I'll talk about in another episode. So basically, this one has a right variety of things you can do with it. There's actually a Line 6 CD music video that I did a while back that featured some of the basic features of the guitar. So at some point, I might maybe just do another video and talk about some of the other things I use this instrument for my work. So this is probably at this point of time for the last 2 years my most used instruments. Okay, it's my most used instrument because I use it on tour with like Stephanie Sun, with Jeff Chang. I've used it for numerous musicals in the past 2 years. If you Google and see the photos of me with this, or Googles of Daniel Chai, pictures of Daniel Chai, it's this guitar for most of the pictures for the last 2 years. Very well made instrument, very nice to play. And then just even without the electronics, just the pickups itself, they sound wonderful and they play great. Basically, it's almost like a kind of a brother or sister to the actual James Tyler Strat that I have. So I'm really enjoying playing this even after 2 years. So thanks to City Music for this. Let me move on to my bass here. So I only allowed myself to have one bass, so it has to be a 5-string, right? Because I do recordings. This doesn't really leave the house because I wouldn't call myself a bass player. I play enough bass to be able to do recordings. Because there are some things that you do with when you program. Those who program, that even with the samples you have nowadays, there's just certain nuances and certain little ghost notes that you can't do with MIDI and a sample. So this comes in really handy. I got this from a friend, Kenzie, a good friend of mine. He's a producer, arranger as well here in Singapore. He's done a lot of good work with, you name it, Stephanie Sun, FIR, and tons and tons of Taiwanese artists. So we basically traded. I had a guitar that he liked very much, and then I liked his bass, so we did a trade. It's been a couple of years, and it's been serving me really well ever since. It used to have a active preamp in it, but for some reason I wasn't comfortable using, so I took it out. So there's a toggle switch now where one of the knobs used to be, and just it's a kill switch basically. It's an on-off switch for the instrument. It's a regular volume for the P pickups, another volume for the hybrid, I guess hybrid J pickups, and a master tone control. I would like to mention as well, the other modification I did to this bass was that I had a narrower nut made for this bass. Basically, it's got a standard, I'm not sure what's the dimension, but a standard P5 string width here. But I wanted something that was a bit narrower in terms of string spacing. So I had a good guys at the Guitar Connection redo a nice nut for me, which has a more of a kind of a J 5-string J spacing. So it's got a P width in the neck, but a 5-string J width in the string spacing. So it's a bit easier to play, just because I'm a guitarist, you know. And whatever helps me to get the tones out, that will help, you know. So this is used mostly for recordings at home. Okay, let me now move to the other guitars on the outside. Okay, this is another wonderful guitar that I have. It's on loan actually from the guys at Gibson. It's basically a standard for 2016 standard model, and it's got tons of features. It's got all the split coils. There's a blower switch, you know. There's a series parallel switch as well, and it's been wonderful. I besides the Variax, this is my other most used guitar. For the past couple of months, it's been really good. It's already been on the road for a few times. It's I brought it to Shanghai for this artist called Wallace Chung, Zhonghan Liang, and it's already done like 2 musicals. Just a wonderful, very good sounding guitar. And I have to say, this is basically a standard. It's not a custom shop. But when I first received it, I honestly couldn't find a fault with it. The fret job, the neck, the finish, everything is perfect. Honestly, it's just a wonderful guitar. So I'm very grateful to Johnson and to Andrew at Gibson for loaning me these instruments. Very well made, and it's very heavily used. Let me move on now to this other guitar, which is a Gretsch Dual Jet. Okay, this one I acquired. It's basically from eBay. It's used. Gretsch has basically a factory, I think, Korea, making the basic models. Then they have their factory in Japan, which this is where this is from, and they have the custom shop guitars, which are made in the Fender custom shop. So this one is special because when I first saw it online, it's basically got all the specs. It's a special model, a special dual jet. It's got all the specs of the George Harrison model, except for the back, because the actual George Harrison model, I think it's he painted it black, so when he copied it, it's black. So the custom shop model is the same as this, but has a nitro finish and black back. But this one is wonderful because it's like a secret weapon for me. I've used it on a couple of musicals, and it's really great for crunch stuff. So a lot of times when I'm doing recording and I just need certain kind of crunch in the middle of a song, this comes in really handy because it's a tone that I just can't get anywhere else. Okay, and at this point, I want to mention something. If I don't know if Steve can zoom in on the dust on the guitar. Can you see the dust? Yeah, the guitar is really dusty, and a lot of the guitars that I've been showing, they're really dusty as well. And then I don't clean off the dust because the dust is really important for the tone of the guitar. Okay, so let me show what I mean. Okay, so if I do this, if I just strum here, okay, D chord, right? Okay, I'm going to remove some of the dust, and I play again. Can you tell it's a big difference in the tone? It's amazing, right? So you see, by me removing the dust here, I've got to leave the guitar there for another 6 months for the dust to settle back in before I get my tone back again. You know, okay? So that's really important, guys. The dust tone test, okay? So do it to your guitars, you know, every day, and don't clean the dust off, because it really makes a difference in the tone of the guitar. The last instrument here. Oh, before I continue, I have to say, actually, I do have another 2 or 3 electrics, but they're not here because one of it's at a workshop. A guitar connection, having some work done to it. So at some point, I'll probably bring it back and then we'll talk about the guitar. The one is also another guitar. It's a Strat. That is one of my most used guitar as well. Okay, this one is a Rickenbacker 36012. It's basically a stereo guitar for those who are familiar. So basically, I can have one pickup going to one side and the other pickup going to the other side. This one, this one gets used maybe once every half a year. Just one of those guitars that I wanted to have because I'm a big Beatles fan. So the Dual Jet is like the early George Harrison era. And at some point he started using the Gretsch, sorry, the Rickenbackers quite a bit. So I have to have this. So one thing unique about this as well is that okay, this instrument and basically the Gretsch I got from Dave's Guitars at it's an online shop. I mean they have a physical shop in the US, but basically I got it online from them, so it's used as well. But what is unique about this is at some point, I think a couple of months after I got it, the neck was coming off his pocket. I think it's maybe the humidity here in Singapore. So the glue was it's basically the pocket was getting loose. So the guys at Guitar Connection glued the neck back for me, and then what they did was they actually bolted down the neck as well. If you can get that, right? I think I basically devalued the guitar, but the guitar sounds great. The neck hasn't shifted then, so I'm very grateful to Guitar Connection for setting up the guitar again. Okay, so that's it for my current electric guitars. There'll be along the way, I'm going to update this and talk about if I put any modifications to my guitars or if there's a new acquisition. I'll let you guys in on it, and then the next time I'm going to speak about my acoustic guitars and some of my other miscellaneous instruments like my mandolins, my ukuleles, my banjos, which I do use quite a bit actually, more than this guitar. So see you again next time. Okay, bye.